Well, hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this going live or recorded. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. As you're seeing a piece of my artwork right here, boom, 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 Mitsuri from Demon Slayer. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about a few cool things that used to happen back in the day. And we're going to talk about what the title says. Start a homestead, they said. It'd be great, they said. Ask the girlfriend how great it is. She still loves it, but she was attacked by a pig last night. So much so she fell, and we had to pull the pig off. And this thing's only about this big. I mean, literally this big. She's a rescue right now, and she's needing some work. Um, so it was quite humorous last night. Not humorous because she's still a little gun shy with this pig, and understandably, uh, this pig is very unpredictable, and so she was trying to get away from the pig last night, and ended up falling and all that good stuff. And like I said, this pig is only like this big, and about yay tall. She's a tiny little thing, but she packs a punch, as most pigs do. And we're trying to break her of the habit of this lungy attack mode. But we know she's in we know she's in pain as well. She's got a most likely a sprained right leg, which is causing her discomfort and pain. What up, Roy? Miracle Whip Joe Bradley Jr. And so when she fell, she landed on her hands and she flipped over real fast so she could defend herself with her feet by pushing against the pig while it's trying to, lunge and bite and all that good stuff. And so I go over there and grab the pig right by the jowls, basically, and pull the pig back until she can get up. And the pig's name is Daisy. And so when all that was going on, finally got her pushed off, and I was able to get into a safe spot until she was able to calm down and realize, hey, we're not trying to hurt you, period. Um, but yeah, she's gonna take some work, and yeah, it's gonna be a minute before she's able to be, you know, with another family. She is not going to be ours by any stretch of the imagination. But it is what it is. And whenever, don't forget to like, share, and follow when you get here, please. That helps us out. Thank you for the likes already. We're up to 400 basically likes, which puts us again in the live popular category, or the popular live category. Let's get it right. So yeah, get a homestead. They said it'd be fun. They said. Not when you've got a little attack pig that wants to bite your ankles and everything else on a regular basis. But yeah, she's very unpredictable. She's a little lightning bolt of energy, even though she does have that bum shoulder right now. That's where we think the sprain is. Uh, she won't let us touch it either, just because it's painful. So we've got her some children's Tylenol that she gets a little bit of. We have a specific CC amount that we give her to ease some of that pain. She is walking a little better, or she was, until the whole bitey incident last night, um, when the girlfriend again fell, landed on her hands, rolled over really quick as she could, and then started to defend herself until I could get over there because I was a little bit a ways away. So I had to run over there, grab the pig by the jowls, and pull back. If you don't know what the jowls are, that's that meaty muscle right here on an animal, a dog, a pig, even a cat. But right there by the back jaw is the jowls, and you just grab hold of that and pull back. Now I could have pulled the ears or anything like that, but I just decided to grab the jowls and pull back because I was over the top. And so, unfortunately, it did take me a hot minute to get over there to help her out because, again, I was on the porch. She was over by the storm cellar. But we got it taken care of, and she's okay right now. Somebody just asked a question. Hold on. Would you rather forget all your past memories or never be able to make new memories again? Huh, that's a good question. Because I've already forgotten most of my past memories. So I'll just stick with that one. As a traumatized child, of the 70s and 80s, latchkey kids that we were. I remember some of my childhood, but not all of it. So there you go. I'll stick with that because I like the new memories that are now. Because we make new memories, just like we make new artwork on a regular basis. Both of those pieces are my artwork right there in the back. Chester Bennington on the bottom. Of course, two different Ozzy Osbournes. As you can see, I've got a hoodie up here as well. Now, let's speak about that. Up on top of Maribel's head is a cat ball. If you see that go off, let me know. I'll probably see it as well. But on the Dybbuk box, I have a cat ball as well. I don't know if we can see that one go off or not. But if we do, it'll go off. It'll actually light her up. So if it does go off, we'll be able to see it because it'll light her off. So I do live in a haunted house for those of you just getting here. I myself neither. Oh, you don't want to lose either one? I know why you don't want to lose past memories, but um, and that's okay. And so he would take neither of your options there, fighter. All right, so for those of you just getting here, I do live in a haunted house, which is very cool. It's very unpredictable sometimes. Uh, and so I did bring in two new haunted items that the girlfriend picked up for Valentine's Day. The doll, which is Maribel, and then the Dybbuk box, which is a sealed box in wax with something inside. We're figuring that it sounds like a rosary, but we're not 100% sure, and not opening it up, those type things. They say it has its own creep factor to it. It sounds like something's trying to scratch from the inside, yada yada yada. Which I think that's a bunch of hogwash myself. But and then Maribel, she proved that she was active on the other live 2 days ago, when we were talking about her. And so I do have a cat ball sitting on top of her head, on her hat, and then on the Dybbuk box, which is sitting right next to her, we have a cat ball sitting on top of the Dybbuk box. And from there, if the Dybbuk box one lights up, it will light her up, so we'll be able to see it. She's right there in this video, in this live performance, right here, right above my finger. You can see her pink hat with the cat ball sitting right on top of it, right there. And then up here, right behind Ozzy, right there, this is the one that I'm working on, creating into a creepy factor music box doll. And then right next to her is Mr. Diego, our other haunted doll, right there. Now for you guys up here, right here is Maribel. Right below her is the Dybbuk box behind the hoodie, the Ozzy hoodie. And then right up here is the two dolls that I'm talking about with Diego sitting right there, the Jester doll. So there you go. So we've got two haunted dolls back behind me. And then, of course, the house is haunted. And supposedly someone took their life in this room, according to the lore that we have so far. And that's coming from the spirits themselves. Yes, we converse with the spirits through dowsing rods and through electronic voice phenomenon recordings and things of that nature. So that's that. But yeah, get a homestead, they said. It'd be fun, they said. And it is fun because it's rewarding. You get fresh eggs on a daily. You get, if you've got your setup, you can do your whole butchering, of different animals, which we do not have that set up yet because we're in the next thing we talk about getting is the meat chickens. So that is the next step uh, to the homestead, to being self sufficient on the homestead. And we've got the garden space, we've got the egg production, all that good stuff. So the next step is going to be the whole meat production. So that's the next step, which she wants no part of, and I understand that because we do rescue animals as well. That's why we have this little pig that attacked her, just yesterday, which is unfortunate because we were doing so good and a lot of potential was happening, and then all of a sudden it was gone in an instant. And and it's sad that people get animals and then they can't take care of them. They get animals and then they abuse them. Let's put it that way. And I'm not saying that's the situation here. There was just some circumstances that were beyond everybody's control. So we much appreciated for the live gift as well. Thank you, Mr. Roy. Any gift that hits here goes back into printing of product right here. I do have some more stuff on the way. Some shirts or some hoodies have been ordered, so I've got those on the way. Those should actually be done. Actually, let's see where we are. It should say fulfilled because it's an easy print. Bum bum bum. Order fulfilled. Okay, it's going to be on its way today, so that's exciting. So they'll get their next round of clothing to be worn, and it is the not friendly, do not touch shirt or hoodie, and so there's that. They got a 2X in that one, and then I'm going to have some more Aussie shirts on the way as well once they get the money to me. I've got Aussie canvas prints available as well. So, on my Facebook page, I did a little game. It said, guess what I am, or what am I? And it's on some of the new drawings. If you were here last live, you would have been able to see, what I was talking about. And I am working on two new pieces right now, plus a commission, well, two commissions, and finishing up getting this one completely sealed. As you can see, it's got a nice high polished shine on it. I'm going to do the same thing with the back side. I'm going to seal it completely so that it can be sat outside on the tombstone. So this is a memorial piece for this puppers who passed away, and they loved this pupper. So, what'd you get? A Miracle Whip slatherer? It's like a cock gun. What'd you get, man? What'd you get? Was it something Dallas Cowboy related? Or was it something else? Because they sell a lot of Dallas Cowboy stuff on the TikTok shop. And today we're going to be talking about Marvel Treasury Edition as well. A wireless induction phone speaker. Alrighty then. Are you deaf? Just kidding, just kidding, not really. Uh, free shipping only 10.91. Well, good job, man. Good job. Okay. So if you don't know what a Marvel Treasury Edition is, It's just a giant magazine style comic book. And the girlfriend has picked me up a couple while we were at different comic book conventions. And this one, yes, I've got them behind glass, and they're a little dirty because they've been sitting on the floor or laid down for a while. And this one is a Whitman edition, so it is actually a little bit more. Good morning, ballerina. Welcome to the show. So this one's a little bit more sought after, if you will. And this one, being a Whitman, uh, is number 17 of the Treasury Edition. This is the Incredible Hulk Treasury Edition, so it is a bigger comic book. Now, this is literally a comic book. It does have its flaws, so um, it has seen better days for this particular issue. And yes, they had 80 pages in here and all that good stuff. And I'll get you a time frame. They're in the 70s. So that one's number 17. And this one is your standard edition, which is number 24. And they were only $2 for this big 80-page giant of a comic book. $2. Now you buy something like this, it's like $50, you know, just for the first run of it. And so this has Adam Warlock in it, the Inhumans, Hercules. I mean, this one's chock full. And this one's a lot better condition than the other one. It doesn't have a whole lot of the cover rolls and stuff like that. There is a little bit of a scratch on this werewolf looking character right here on his arm. There's a little bit of a scratch right there, and a little scratch right here. But as far as the edge on this one, the edge is really, really good on this one. Whereas the other one's not so much. And the other one in the collection, we just picked this one up in 2024, is Doctor Strange number 6, Marvel Treasury Edition right here. This one is not encapsulated. So it's a front and back cover on all of these. And this is from 1975. And this was only $1.50. Bump them. There's the proof. $1.50. And full comic book, just massive size. Right here. I mean, you got to think your typical comic book. Do I have one close? I do not have a comic book crush. What the hell? What the hell, man? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Don't say that. What the hell? I don't have a comic book close. Well, anyway, let's go with this. This is a magazine backer for typical magazines, and you can see the size. This is your typical magazine size, and this is how big this digest Treasury Edition is, as opposed to a magazine. So I thought I would have had a, one close, but I didn't. But the only difference in this than the comic books is that it wasn't chock full of advertisements. You know, when you flip through a comic book and every other page seemed to be an advertisement for something, this is straight comic enjoyment. Great artwork, great comic stuff, but no advertisements, not even at the back. You get to see the cover gallery for all the different covers. Number 1, number 2, which is in hand, number 3, number 4, number 5, and this one's number 6. So it shows you all the other comics that were in this Treasury Edition for Doctor Strange, the most mystical hero of all, right there. And this one's in great shape too. You can see a little bit of the spine tick and stuff like that right here in this bottom corner. You know, this is just typical wear and tear for a comic book from 1975, is where we determined that it came from. Volume 1, number 6 of the Treasury Edition. And these were not the ones that you would find rolled up in somebody's back pocket, you know, as most comic books ended up being for those that really read them. You know, their parents would get them off the newsstand and they would hand them to the kid, and the kid would read it and then take it to their friend's house, and so on and so forth. But this had pinups, and not just this one, but the Hulks too that were down there. You got pinups, you got multiple stories going on through here. Um, I mean, just chock full. Steve Ditko, Dennis O'Neil, Artie Simic, Stan Lee, of course. And they just don't make comic books like this anymore, which is sad because I'd buy that for $1. Not to quote RoboCop or anything. I'd buy that for $1. And so the Treasury Edition was just one of those cool features that they produced to make themselves different from everybody else. And everybody was trying to find a niche when it came to how can we get more of our product out there to people. And today, it's just gimmick after gimmick. It's variant covers on top of variant covers. It's a foil edition. It's a metal edition. It's a holographic edition. It's a, whatever you can to make people feel like they need or want that comic book nowadays, especially in the independent race. I see, like, there was one campaign. It's a more of an adult oriented campaign on the cheeky comic side, and they had like 12 or 13 variant covers. And if you wanted every one of them, it was going to cost you roughly $300 for all of them. I was just like, that's pretty steep. Even at $5 a piece, that's pretty steep. To get all the covers that you got at, 300 bucks, and that's before the shipping and tax. So, it's just like, so you're going to be closer to 350 bucks by the time it's all said and done, just to get every cover of this particular comic book. Yes, it's got the lewd covers, if you will. If you don't know what lewd means, you can go look that up. LEWD. The risque covers, all that good stuff. Um, and so that's where the gimmicks come in nowadays. Multiple covers, different formats of the cover, and then nothing exciting or really over the top like the Treasury edition from '75. I don't know exactly when or how long the Treasury edition was printed, but we can look that up. Let's see what it says. Okay, so they were printed from 74 to 81. And these were basically reprints. What's up, Casey? Welcome to the show, bro. How you feeling today? Appreciate the likes on the live. Don't forget to like, share, and follow when you get here. And so the Treasury Edition, what we were talking about, Casey, were these books right here. These massive, massive comic books from back in the day that were printed from 74 to 81. Um, and they were reprints of previously told stories. So every one of these was a reprint of a story that was already in the comics out there. But again, the difference with these are that there is no advertisement in here. I'm here is all bad, bad, bad. I'm sorry, bro. I am sorry, man. I know that sucks. And these were 80 pages worth of artwork and story. And then, of course, you've got the massive pin-up right here. Ooh, better cover this up. The Playboy section. I'm just kidding. But this was the massive pin-up available in this book um, right here. Who did that? Bunner? I mean, it was cool. Cool pin-up. Absolutely. The Colt and the Curse. Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about right now. And so again, from 74 to 81, these were printed. And I don't know exactly how many were printed and of what, but, you know, um, but if there was some Uncanny X-Men in that, I've got to find that. Okay, so here we go. From 74 was the Spectacular Spider-Man, and then Fabulous Fantastic Four, the Mighty Thor, Conan the Barbarian, Hulk, Doctor Strange, the Mighty Avengers, Giant Superhero Holiday Grab Bag. No X-Men in that one. Giant Superhero Team Up, the Mighty Thor, the Fabulous Fantastic Four, Howard the Duck in 76, Giant Superhero Holiday Grab Bag again, Sensational Spider-Man Conan, The Defenders, The Incredible Hulk, The Astonishing Spider-Man Conan, Hulk, Fantastic Four, Sensational Spider-Man Conan, Rampaging Hulk, which is what I've got right here in my hands. I've got 17 and 24 out of these. Um, so no, up to 81, they did not have or do any of the Uncanny X-Men. And then they did a Marvel Special Edition from 75 to 80, which included the Spectacular Spider-Man, Star Wars from 77 to 78, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then Empire Strikes Back. And then they did a Marvel Treasury Special from 74 and 76, but Captain America with his bicentennial battles and Giant Superhero Holiday Grab Bag, which included Amazing Adventures number 5 and Fantastic Four number 24 or 25 and 26, and Marvel Team Up number 1, Daredevil number 7. So there you go. So those would be good ones to find to get all of them, but again, a little bit harder to find out there in the wild. And it was just the luck of the draw that we actually found these three that we do have. um, So, actually, let me look at that one real fast. So that one's number 6, which was Doctor Strange, and then we've got number 17, which was the Incredible Hulk, and then number 24, which is the Rampaging Hulk. So we've got 3 out of the 28 titles that they printed of the Treasury Edition. So we're only 25 away from having the whole run. Which I doubt we will. Again, because I'm sure that some of those are going to be worth a little bit more in the price range, than I want to pay. Because actually, I think I got all of these in trade, except for I think maybe she did maybe she did pay for the Hulk. I can't remember, but I know no, we traded for those because that was a guy, and then this one wasn't that much. So yeah, they weren't that expensive. This was trade on the Hulks, both of those 17 and 24, and then that was for some toys, for the guy that he wanted. So we just traded straight across the board, and that was here in town actually. I think that was at the Collecticon in Sharp Gaming, back in the day, back in 2024. So how's everybody doing out there? I know we've got Bad out there. We've got falling asleep. And then if Ballerina is still here, how are you doing? Now that Mardi Gras is over, and how did Mardi Gras go? I didn't see any incidents or anything like that. For those of you just arriving, we do have cat balls set up right here on top of Maribel's head and on top of the Dybbuk box, which is sitting right next to her. For you guys up here, not down here. Up here, it's right here, which is completely different than you guys right here. So if you guys see that ball go off, let me know. I'll probably see it as well as I'm looking at it. But we do know that she was active the other day, but she hasn't been active as far as I can tell since that point in time. And I'm hoping she, gives us another sign as she knows how to work the cat ball because, as I said, it was sitting on top of her and it went off twice while we were talking about, other things. And so, but now it's sitting directly on her head. The cycle of the refrigerator back here has not set it off. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. And hopefully we catch something. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. We appreciate it. We're up to 7,000 likes, which puts us again in the popular live category, which is always fun and exciting, especially for the fandom side. Now, I know that more people are into the gaming side of things, the political side of things, all that type of stuff. And there's different categories that you put yourself in. And I'm in the fandom side because, comic books, artwork, all that type of stuff. And of course, paranormal are fandom type situations. So as you can see, like I told you, we did hang up the artwork over here. So we'll be watching those to see if they do jump off the page. Of course, we have all three of our, passed on participants back here from Chester to Ozzy. So, and then Roy gets his shirt tomorrow. He gets crowned with his shirt tomorrow. Beat him in the face with it. Bam! As he's back there doing who knows what ungodly things. Watching his BET channel. So, instead of paying attention over here. So, oh, lots of stuff is happening. Like we talked about, today's title is Get a Homestead, they said. It'd be great, they said. Basically taking a play off of Come Out to the Coast, have a few laughs. If you know, you know. If you don't, oh well, I'm sorry. And it's she took a tumble with the pig, who is a little bullet in and of herself, Daisy. And so we're trying to work with her to get her out of this lungy phase, you know. And so it's taken a minute, and we took a step back last night, um, which was a shame. And she hurt her leg again, and not the girlfriend, but the pig. The pig's got a bum shoulder. We're not sure if it was inflicted on her or if it was something else from the hole that they had dug in the backyard and all that stuff. We just know that she limps on that right front leg, and it's not conducive to her. She's in pain, so we're hoping that is all the lunging is from, is that she's just in pain, and once that pain goes away, that she'll be back to happy-go-lucky pig like our two pigs. Now, with that being said, the pigs don't get along either. um, so Bruiser is much bigger than Daisy. Daisy is much smaller than both of the pigs. Like I said, Daisy's about this big, about yay tall. Bruiser's about that big and about yay tall. Bit is like this big around, and 200 pounds. Daisy is all of probably 50 pounds tops. Bruiser is probably pushing 110 to 115 pounds, if I had to guess. Um, and so they're just not cohesive to each other yet, especially when they're, you know, apart from each other. Like we keep Daisy outside with the sunshine in a pen, which is the old chicken coop that's got a big run in it and all that good stuff. Well, that's keeping her confined, unfortunately. You know, she gets to sleep in some hay. This keeps her warm and all that stuff because it is warm outside right now. It's 61 degrees here. You know, temperatures are going to be fluctuating, so we can't keep them outside at night yet because we don't have a permanent shelter for them. And if they all got along, they could all sleep together, blah blah blah, like they do inside. Like Bruiser and Bit sleep together inside now. Of course, they gripe whenever one gets up and gets in the other one's space and all that type of jazz. So, um, which is anybody's going to gripe whenever somebody's walking on you trying to get to another spot. You know, uh, and if that's happening to you, you need to get a bigger house or get some tents for the backyard. Um, and so we're trying to get them all friendly together. You know, because both of the female pigs are fixed, or Daisy's fixed, Bruiser's fixed. So the male and the female pigs are fixed. So there's no baby threat happening there. Bit, on the other hand, is not fixed because we didn't realize at the time, again, the new pig owners back in the day, we were supposed to get her fixed as a child, as a kid. So now it's too late to get her fixed. So we have to, you know, she goes through heat for 3 to 4 days at a time. And it's annoying because she's coming up to you, nudging you on the leg, and rubbing that stout nose right up your shin. And it's very painful. Um, and then her heavy breathing. You put her on the phone, and somebody would be saying you're doing obscene phone calls. And it's quite annoying. But, we're just trying to work with this new pig, the rescue pig. And it's just going to take some time. And again, it's unfortunate that it's going to take that amount of time because she's housebroken. She hasn't had an accident in the house, period. She does all of her business outside. And, it's just sad that people abuse their animals that they get, no matter what kind of animal it is. Um, and I'm not saying that's what happened. And it doesn't mean like physical abuse, like beating and throwing around and stuff like that, like what happened with Bruiser. Bruiser was getting abused, you know. And so once we saw him and saw the conditions he was in, he was also very skittish, but he wasn't lungy like this pig is. And so it didn't take us any time at all to get him worked in to the fold around here because the grandchild to these people that had the pig, he would pick him up and throw him on the ground. He would kick him around, all this stuff, and the grandparents wouldn't do anything about it, which was the stupid part. Um, you're seeing it happen, it's happening, but yet you're allowing it to happen, and then you reward the kid by buying him a horse. Hopefully, that horse one good swift kick, and that kid knows, hey, I just fucked up, by tormenting this horse. So, you know, not to have the kid get hurt because he's about 8 to 10 years old, but he should know better. You know, I mean, that's the signs of a Schmierio killer right there. Whenever they're abusing animals, right? Every documentary. Well, they started out by dissecting this kitten that they had, and we couldn't figure out where all the kittens in the neighborhood were going. Just serial killer documentaries that you see out there. And so this kid's going to be right at the top. The Menendez brothers, I mean, is the next here in, the Poto area or wherever we had to go to get Bruiser. I can't remember now. We had to drive a little ways, but um, but Bruiser is a great pig, you know. Uh, Bit is a good pig, but she likes to still, you know, act up, act a fool, and you know. So those of you just arriving, we're talking about homesteading. I homestead. I do artwork. I'm a disabled veteran, and the homestead part of it is a huge portion because it's sun up to sundown. Now, with the chickens, the ducks, and the geese, you let them go and do what they want all day long, until it's feed time, and then you put them away at night so that they can stay safe from the predators. Because here we have wolves, or coyotes, not wolves. We have coyotes. We do have fox. We have bobcat in the area. We have hawks. We have possums, and we have raccoons. Now, the possums aren't going to eat the chickens per se. They're going after the eggs that are left behind. Now, the raccoons will go after the chickens if they are left outside. So that's why you put them up at night and then let them roam free range during the day. And our chickens take full advantage of that. The ducks and the swan, and not the swans, the ducks and the geese do too. We did have goats at one point in time, but we got to the point where it was just like the goats aren't for us. So we went ahead and just sold those off with the new kids that we had. Um, and it's been a little bit happier around here because we're not getting rammed by the male goat anymore because he got very angry whenever we separated his girl with the kids away from him. Um, and so he took it out on everybody, on everything that he could. If you weren't looking, you were flying up in the air because you're getting your legs taken out from under you. That's how bad it was. And then he tried to gore you with his horns. So, we were like, nope, we're done with this. So we got rid of them because we originally got the goats for milking purposes, but we should have got a dairy goat over, the Nigerian dwarfs. Um, but you learn as you homestead, you learn what you can handle, what you can't. An emu is probably happening next because that's one of the things the girlfriend wants. We have the room for it, especially once we knock down the old chicken coop area, um, which is the next steps because we've almost got the new coop ready to go. It needs a door. It needs a couple of other pieces. We're starting to get into the warmer weather where we can just kick them into there and not have to worry about having heat right now. We will put some fans in there to offset the heat and put some airflow in there, even though it's open, with the chicken wire and all that good stuff, to where they can't get got at night. Um, it's just taking some time to get where we want to be. We are going to put a concrete floor in there. Plus, we're going to layer it with hay and wood bedding, things like that, so that it keeps, a regulated heat during the wintertime and things like that. Now, during the summertime, you don't want all that extra heat in there on top of the concrete, so that'll be scooped out and all that good stuff. And the concrete floor just makes it easier to wash off, with a hose. So, just a lot of work. A homestead is a lot of work. So, if you've ever thought about doing a homestead, just know it's a lot of work. It's constant work because you're always constantly mucking something. Like where the chickens are housed right now, you're constantly having to get that old grain and old food out of there. Otherwise, you get a lot of mice problems. Um, you start getting mold problems and things like that. So you want to clear it out as quickly as possible most of the time. So unless you're doing the deep bed method, which is a whole different ball of wax in and of itself, you just keep composting the stuff in there by turning it over, putting some new bedding on top of that. Especially during the wintertime, you want to do this because it has heat. It creates heat and keeps them warmer during the wintertime. Now, a chicken's body temperature runs about 106 to 107 degrees anyway. So that's why you see them huddled together during the wintertime because they're producing, you know, 300 um, Fahrenheit of heat going on between them all. So, no, they're not going to start a fire. Don't worry about that. But they are very warm to the touch. So, if you ever have a chicken that's not very warm to the touch, something's wrong. So, just know you need some help on that chicken. But yeah, homesteading is not for the faint of heart. I'm just going to tell you that. I mean, if I wanted to go as far, I could get one cow for my yard. You know, but I'm not going that far because if I'm doing that, for me he's going to be butchered. For the girlfriend, he's a pet. That's why she wants to get a Highland cow, basically, that doesn't get very big, but it's very woolly, like a woolly mammoth, you know. Oh, on another note, legendary actor Robert Duvall passed away yesterday at 95 years old. I'm not sure if it was, anything other than old age that took him out, but Robert Duvall did pass away yesterday at the age of 95. So that's a long life. Again, I'm not going to cry over it, all that stuff. It is sad for his family and all that good stuff. But other than entertainment, he didn't contribute to my life. Um, just like when I go, for most of you watching, I didn't contribute anything to your life except for a face on a screen. Um, Now, there's other people on here that we've become friends. And whenever anybody goes in this group that's here, it will be a super sad day, you know? And it's because, we've become friends. We contribute with each other's lives. We have constant contact with each other, you know? Some of us see each other in person, so that's completely different than a celebrity passing away or a musician passing away. That absolutely added nothing to my life. They didn't pay my bills. They didn't send me money. They didn't do this. They didn't talk to me on a regular basis, yada, yada, yada. And, and so, yes, it's sad when a celebrity passes away. I mean, right behind us. Two celebrities passed away back here behind me. Sad day. But again, all they did was give me entertainment purposes. They gave me music. They gave me some. Now, Chester Bennington, he wasn't doing any reality TV that I know of. I just knew him from the music. Great talent. Gone too soon. Ozzy Osbourne, still gone too soon, but he lived a great life. From the bat biting to the travels with his son, on the reality show. And, you know, yeah, sad day, but I didn't cry over it. I didn't, "Oh, I can't go to work today because they passed away." Any of that type of stuff. I'm sorry, it's just not me. And I'm seeing a lot of video game creators that have passed away too. The guy that created Castlevania and a couple of other high profile games passed away yesterday as well. And then a couple days before that, another inventor of some game and some very popular games back in the day passed away as well. So it's just that time, It people have run their course of longevity in their life, and it's just coming to that fruition. You know, that's why I tell you guys to tell people in your circle that you love them on a regular basis, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. 5 minutes from now is not promised to anyone. I could pass out or go after live. I could go during live, and then you guys have to be calling. I don't know where this guy lives, but some of you do. Um, but yeah, tomorrow isn't promised. So always be cognizant of telling people that you love them. You know, yeah, there's a lot of jokes that float around between Roy and I. You know, uh, but ultimately, as friends and brothers from another mother, we love each other. You know, and I constantly tell the girlfriend. She constantly tells me. Um, I tell my parents, even though I'm not still 100% sold on my stepdad. You know, and that's he's been in my life since the 70s. You know, and but that's just me. I don't harbor ill will towards him. It's just that I am not to a place where some people call their stepdads dad. I will never be at that point. He's pops to me. Um, I have never once in my entire existence called him dad, and that's just me. And I know that can be weird to some people out there because, well, he raised you, didn't he? Well, yeah, but I also got beat by him. You know, uh, I didn't just get the leather side of the belt; I got the belt buckle. You know, I got the full on hand effect. It wasn't just this, that, or the other, and so that's why he will never be dad to me. When he passes away, okay, it'll be a sad day, especially if my mother's still living at that point in time. Uh, and she's 5 years older than he is. And she's the one that walks around with a walker and can barely lift her arm above her head. But yet he's the one that, is getting weighted on hand and foot. Again, generation type of situation. Um, and, but yeah, he will never be dad to me. So, and again, that's just me. I can be cruel. I can be, that could be a mean thing that I'm saying, but it's how I react to the situation, you know, because I can remember the stuff that happened. I can remember stuff that isn't documented, you know, uh, because back in the day we didn't have cell phones that everybody recorded something on instead of stepping up and helping. Oh, let me record this so I can get my 5 minutes of fame. Hold on. Look at me. I'm Barney. Everybody in the chat and Monty. Oh, you're going to bed? Oh, you dipping out? You motherfucker. Roy's a motherfucker. He's wanting to dip. He's wanting to dip. He can't hang. Can't hang for the whole show. I gotta go lather up with my miracle whip. I'm leaving. See, I'm not sad about it. He can do what he wants. He's a grown adult. We just got a restriction because your live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and it has been restricted. Submit feedback. Oh, bullying? What the fuck? My live does not contain what is mentioned, you stupid motherfuckers. Oh, I get a live restriction for 10 minutes. Ooh. No, I'm still here. I'm eating burritos, sir. So, Roy, I apologize for bullying you, as TikTok seems to think I was bullying you. I'm so sorry. I have anger issues. Oh, as many people do. Um, as was in full display yesterday in my truck when people were doing 10 miles under the fucking speed limit on Rogers Avenue when it's already slow fucking enough. Um, yeah, I know. As he said, there is no TikTok bullying here. Um, and so it is. I was in full before the gym as I was heading to the gym with my pre-workout kicking in. Um, I was getting some road rage yesterday because literally people were 10 miles under the damn speed limit. That is my biggest pet peeve. And then the second part to that, you're traveling in the fucking passing lane. Move your fucking ass over. Okay? Get in the lane that you're supposed to be in if you're going to do 10 fucking miles under while other people are speeding past you. All that good stuff. And I know I'm not the only one that has road rage issues with people that are being fucking stupid in the passing lane that are wanting to travel and go under the speed limit. And now TikTok doing what they do. Such brilliant AI moves. Fucking AI sucks. I saw that there was a AI clip of Brad Pitt and was it what the fuck is his name? Fuck, I can't think of what his name is. Eyes Wide Shut. Tom Cruise fighting each other, and they're like, we're basically done in Hollywood because if AI can do this with us in it, yes, I do know that he was from Shawnee because his family still had Van's Pig Stand there in town, and it was a great barbecue joint, and it had a lot of his movie posters autographed around the top. They had this what's called a tray ceiling in the restaurant, and they had all of his well, not all of them, but a majority of his movie posters lining that tray ceiling area, and they were all autographed. And they also had pictures of him in the restaurant with the dollar bills that he signed, and stuff like that, with the staff behind him getting a picture and all that stuff. So it was kind of cool, to go in there and eat and see the nostalgia and look at all the different autograph posters and if there was any new ones and things like that. So yeah, he was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma, and then moved off to Missouri, close to Neosho and stuff like that. So yeah, that's very cool. It's good knowledge to have, especially for Brad Pitt. But they said we're cooked. Basically that um, if AI can create this and we're not even included, we're done. Hollywood's done. We're not gonna be making films anymore for the most part. I didn't read the whole article, um, but yeah, apparently there's a video of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt getting into a fight that was generated in AI, and I'm not gonna watch it, but because again, I do not do AI. That's why I'm having an issue with one of my sponsors or the guy that wants to be a sponsor, um, with me, and because he's wanting to go all AI, and he's also wanting to do an AI traditional artist convention, which I just don't see working out, especially when other big, and I'm talking mega size, 3 and 4 day conventions, comic book conventions, are blocking AI artists. And then this guy is wanting to do the opposite. He's wanting to bring in AI artists because, oh well, they're making money too. No, they're stealing shit from people, and it just pisses me off. I could go down a whole rabbit hole. I was trying to look for that article again, but I'm not seeing it. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I'm not seeing it again. It's already changed. And I don't know how true it is, but if you were into the Labubu, there's supposedly a hidden camera inside of the Labubus, which I don't believe 100%, but anything's possible. Anything's possible. because they showed one creator on TikTok chopping into a Labubu doll and finding this hidden camera inside of it. And then this guy takes a whole pack of 8 or whatever it is in this box of Labubus, takes them all out, takes one out. He sits there and chops through his like 50 minutes or an hour or whatever it is to try to cut through his Labubu. And only to chop it up into 2 different sections that you didn't get to see. And then he pulls out this little camera inside of his. So I don't think it's true. I think that's all fakety fake news. On that note, but yeah, anything's possible. I mean, that's our cell phones are already spying on us. Our computers are already spying on us because you can talk about barbecue all day long, and now on your phones, you're going to have barbecue advertisements later on. Or you can even think about shit. And it's happened to me a lot. I'll think about something, not even say it out loud, not even search it, and within 5 to 10 minutes, I'll start seeing advertisements for what I was thinking about. And it's just like, huh, interesting. How is that even fucking possible? And then they used to put, and they might still do it in some places. If you go into the mall, there's certain malls that have interactive displays that uh, show different advertisements on it for different stores inside of there. But then it will visualize you through a little camera that's on there, and then it will start doing target ads for you for what's inside the mall. Now tell me how it does that. Just based off of your look, based off of how you're dressed. You know, if I were to walk in with my Missouri t-shirt, yeah, yeah, no, I get that. And the phone speaker stuff or any electronic stuff is going to pop up, that fast. You know, it's like me. Let me talk about toggle switches. I need a new toggle switch, most likely for my fog lights. So I think that's what went out. So let's see how many toggle switches I get on my phone here in a little bit. And I haven't even searched it out yet. Haven't searched it out yet. I have not done that yet. Not yet. I'm trying to see if these restrictions are going to go off or not, but I don't even care about these anymore. You know, I get restrictions on a regular basis because I talk about this stuff right here and, the TikTok shop where it's not. Um, but luckily for the past X amount of times, I haven't gotten a restriction on that yet. Oh, I need to look up doll clothes makers. Maybe even a cosplayer. Maybe even a cosplayer would help. I don't know. I hit up some cosplayers as well and see what they can do. I know they're busy building their own cosplay stuff like that. So this commission right here, he's in limbo right now. He's on hold until I start getting some payments on him. I've still got the background color to do, all that good stuff. This is a memorial piece right here. Boom, boom, boom. For a friend that passed away right at the beginning of the year, right at the end of December, right before January. And she was a good egg. She was also a witch, and she liked Stitch. So that's why the witch's hat and the broom back here in the background. And then I'm working on a couple of just fun little pieces that I haven't done some things in a while. So this one is what is on my board on my Facebook page right now, asking what am I? And so let me get you real close right there. Right there. Okay. So if you can guess what that is, which I showed you guys the other day. And then this one is going to go up on the page today. So I'm going to get it real close right there. Right there. Boom, boom. Right there. Boom. Right there. And there you go. So if you can guess what those are, I did post them the other day during a live, the last live. So you should be able to know what they are if you don't know what they are right now. So, but I will be posting this one, the last one that you saw that had the chain in it. That one will be the next one being posted today asking what I am. So, or what am I? But yeah, so those are fun little pieces. Uh, because one character I've known about for a while. This other character is new to me, and again, I don't know exactly when they made their appearance, but they are a character, as you can hear. Let's see. Um, get out of here. Go right here, and I'm gonna find out when this character. And if you can get my key prompts right here, you can tell which ones I'm on. Everything's running like pond water at this particular juncture, this particular moment. 30.4 thousand likes puts us in the popular live category. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for the gifts as well. All that goes back into printing processes for prints, shirts, things of that nature, canvas prints, all that good stuff. Let's see. In 2022, so this character's been around for a little bit. So this character's been around for a little bit. Um, they were a counterpart to the main character in a multiversal event during that storyline. So, late 2022, so 4 years ago, and I'm just now finding out about this character. It's kind of like the Batman Who Laughs. I didn't know about him until uh like a year and a half after he was out there. And it was just like, who is this character? And so I started doing research on that character. And that was one of my first sketches, not here, not with these two, but yeah, I didn't know about this character. Obviously, it's 4 years ago, and when this character came out, and I'm just now finding out about this character. So there you go. All right. So, all right, are my restrictions done up yet? Hold on, let's see. Live restricted for this, I still have at five, at five. Okay. Well, the one restriction has ended, but my other restriction about the bullying is still up. Thank you, TikTok, for being a dickhead. Is what it is. The use of AI has become so stupid that right here it's telling that we are bullying people. And that's not the case. Uh, because, you know, even he said there was no bullying going on TikTok. So you're a dickhead. You're a dumb motherfucker that uses AI. All right? Okay. Enough said. I have not hooked up my new spirit box to the awesome creation the girlfriend made for Christmas. So that is something that we're going to be working on, getting that hooked up together on that and getting it going. And here, this is February. In March, right around the corner, don't forget, this signing is happening the 8th at the convention center or community center in Ozark, Arkansas. Right there. You've got the address. So if you want to come join, you can do that. Like I said, it's going to be a potluck. I'm always nervous about potlucks anyway. But that's just me. I've been to one too many church potlucks that some of the stuff that people brought was just like, mm, you guys can keep that. I'm gonna go with what I know. I tried some lamb sausage one time, summer sausage, and that was not good. That was not good. They made their own, and it was not good. I tried it. I gave it a shot. It was not. So you know, I mean, I love a nice potluck, but sometimes it's better to just close your eyes on that type of thing. It is. It really is. And don't get me wrong, there are some good potlucks out there, you know. And I've been at a few churches that had some great potlucks. Even the snake handling church, whenever we first started as trainers coming over here in 2008 uh, to Arkansas, at a little church that we visited. It was just happened to be a potluck day that we visited. So you've got four, no, it was more than that. It was six of us, six Army guys at the back of the church, and they put us at the front of the line for their potluck, you know. And they had some good stuff, you know, and they didn't handle snakes. We were kind of surprised. Um, and not to knock the church of them, but it was just seemed like that kind of a church, if you get my meaning. And so, you know, it's just one of those things that's just like, well, all right, they're shoving us in the front of the line because we're military and we're guests. And it just happened to be potluck day. And so we went ahead and ate, got some food. It was good food. You know, that turned out to be a really good one. Good morning, Tammy. How are we doing today? Are we getting ready for work? Are the lambs going to be screaming today? Are they going to have some fava beans? Hopefully your day is going good out there, Tammy. And hopefully you are well and not illin. You know, a Beastie Boys type stuff. Illin. You need to put some Beastie Boys to some of your videos. That would be some good stuff right there. No sleep till Brooklyn, even though you're in Chicago. But no, some Beastie Boys would be good stuff with your videos. Oh, let's see here. We'll see if she responds to us. We're waiting for your response. No, but no, we ended up with a restriction because they said we were bullying someone, Mr. Roy, who I believe is still here, in the background somewhere, eating his curds and whey. Actually, it's plus fight for your rights to party. Yes, absolutely. We got to fight for your right to party. I mean, party. Yes, yes. Those are great songs. No, Beastie Boys had a lot of good songs that, you know, didn't make the radio. And if you had their albums, uh, they had a lot of good stuff on there. And I know Beastie Boys wasn't everybody's cup of tea, just like Limp Bizkit isn't everybody's cup of tea. Just like Vanilla Ice wasn't a bunch of everybody's cup of tea. But they had some good music, you know. And there's a lot of bands out there that have a lot of good music that don't get played enough. Uh, and then there's some bangers that you find here on TikTok. And then there's stuff that you're like, well, you should have just stayed buried. Absolutely 100%. Because your stuff shucks. I don't get the whole sleep token. I don't. I don't get the whole sleep token fanatics. I've listened to their stuff. It's okay. Is it just the gimmick? Is it just the outfit? I mean, is that the whole why you like them? I know some of you probably haven't even heard of Sleep Token, um, but if you haven't, go give them a shot. I just can't get into it, and I've tried. Great music by Five Finger Death Punch and Hollywood Undead. Yes, they've got good stuff. Now, Hollywood Undead was better back in the day than they are today, uh, because of the lead singer change. Um, their music just doesn't hit the same. Just like the girlfriend is talking about how mainstream Ghost has become. She used to like their older stuff, but the mainstream stuff that they're doing now, she could care less about. Um, so when bands change because of what the studio wants them to be, they start to suck. But everybody loves Sleep Token for some reason right now. I know there's the haters out there too, for Sleep Token, but I just don't get it. I don't understand the hype. I see a lot of people that are, you know, hyped for going to the concerts and stuff like that, and it's just like I've tried. I have literally tried to get into the music, and I just can't. He's got a super slow song. They've got a super slow. I say him because he's the main person out there for him. I don't know what his name is or anything like that, but it's like he's got a super slow song that they play on Octane on my Sirius XM channel, and it's just like, why is this even played here? Octane is supposed to be more of a heavy metal style, rock and roll, serious rock and roll stuff, but this is like mellow. This is like wanting to put me to sleep shit, you know. Hence the name, Sleep Token. Um, and then I know they got a little bit more heavier stuff, but I just can't get into it. If you're into Sleep Token, please tell me what the appeal is, because I just can't get into it. And I've tried, just like you know with the bunny hop, I tried, and I just couldn't get into it. It has nothing to do with the politics. It has nothing to do with who they are. It's just I couldn't get into it. And I like me some Latin flavor when it comes to music and stuff like that. But the bunny hop just didn't do it for me. So again, another band that I won't be putting in my playlist. You know, so and I'm sure there's other bands out there that are like that for people. Like I'm a big Guns N' Roses fan, and I know there's a ton of people that hate Guns N' Roses. Ever since they came out as Hollywood Undead, or not Hollywood Undead, Hollywood Rose, back in the day when they were a punk rock band. And now if you search up Hollywood Rose on there, you're going to find the original Guns N' Roses, but you're going to find a whole new group of people that are claiming to be Hollywood Rose, you know, and that's not who they were. And they were Hollywood Rose until they switched it over to Guns N' Roses. So, and then Appetite for Destruction, need we say more? And yes, they've got new music out now, two new songs. Sound good. I still like them, you know. Now, I am happy that I saw them in their heyday in the 90s in a concert, because it was a great concert. Unfortunately, Smashing Pumpkins got booed off the stage, um, because they were in the heart of the Bible Belt in Oklahoma and yelled "Hail Satan" from the stage, which got them booed off stage, and they vowed never to go to Oklahoma City ever again. And they've played in Oklahoma City many, 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 many times since then. So Billy Corgan was not serious with his threat that they will never go to Oklahoma ever again. Um, Liar. And I'm not a big Smashing Pumpkins fans either. They've got some decent songs, but I'm just not a fan. And I know that's going to put a big target on me. Like I'm worried about that. Considering when I worked for Walmart, I had a big target on my back for 2 years before I turned in my letter of resignation. So there you go. But yeah, no, I was never a big Smashing Pumpkins fan. I can sing their stuff. It's just like the Beatles. I can sing their stuff. I'm not a Beatles fan either. So, um, just not my cup of tea. Give me some Golden Earring over the Beatles any day. Um, give me some Jimi Hendrix over the Beatles any day. Give me some Janis Joplin over the Beatles any day. David Bowie. The list goes on and on. I mean, I would put a million other bands before the Beatles even made my list. I would put a few country artists on my list before I put the Beatles on my list. And I hate country. If you know me, my playlist does not have country in it at all. And that was my Elvis skills right there for his, black belts that he received. Sorry, Casey, I had to throw that in there. And so, it is what it is. People have their musical talents that they love and that the ones that they hate and other people love and vice versa. And it's just like, again, you will never please everybody at any point in time. So the only one you can please is yourself. Make yourself happy first, and then the happiness can go from there in your circle. Uh, because if you're not happy with yourself, nobody else is going to be happy. Your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, your dog, your cat, nobody's going to be happy. The dogs and cats will try to make you happy because, they give unconditional love no matter what. Uh, that's why it's sad to see abuse cases when it comes to animals, you know? And that's why we're rehabilitating or trying to rehabilitate this little pig, Daisy. Uh, and, it is what it is. You're never going to appease everybody. Yo, Monty in chat. Who do you think is the greatest guitar player of all time? That's a loaded question because you got to go back to Lucifer. I'm sorry, you do, because he was in charge of the music, you know. Um, and then, I mean, you get into you're probably going to go with like Van Halen, yeah, Eddie down there, and I would go with like Zach Wild, Randy Rhodes, Slash, um, Jimi Hendrix. I mean, the list for me is going to be completely different than what your list is going to be. And there's not a definitive greatest of all time because you can ask 100 different people what who the greatest is, and you're going to get potentially 5 people to say the exact same guitarist out of those 100 people. You're going to get 100 different answers. Just like you said, Angus Young. To me, not the greatest by far. Um, and he's good. Yeah, and he's good because I can't play guitar. And but I can name, like I already did, several others that I would put before him, before Angus Young. And I know ACDC's been around for forever. I mean, just look at him. He still dresses like a schoolboy, and he's what, 90 years old, Angus Young? But Casey would have a different list than even I would have. Whoever else is watching would have a different list than I would have, or Casey would have, or that you would have. So, and I could pull up on Google who is the greatest guitar player of all time, and it's going to have several different lists from several different people that have several different people that might be on the same list, but they're in different orders. Their number one could be another person's number eight, you know? So it's a loaded question. It's just like who's the greatest vocalist of all time? You've got to go into the opera side. You've got to go into, um, you know, yodelers. You've got to go into freestylers. You've got to go into, I mean, so many different criteria for everybody on who they think is the greatest of all time. And it just boils down to who's the greatest basketball player of all time. 90% of people are going to say Jordan. Others are going to say Bryant. Others are going to say Braun, Jammy Boy, who throws a fit and is the biggest flopper in the world. And he gets still banging his head because mental health will drive you mad. Um, and I know that's not their song, but anyway. Uh, but yeah, no, I mean, the whole, those are loaded questions all the way around. It's just like, who's the greatest of all time between these two? Two different vocal talents in Ozzy and Chester. A lot of people won't even pick Ozzy out of that crew. They'll pick Chester over Ozzy and vice versa. Like, you're going to tell me Ozzy. Okay, cool. Ozzy did have a great musical talent. Chester had a great vocal range when it came to his songs that he sang, you know. And then other people wouldn't even pick either one of them, you know. And now he's trying to do AC/DC down here. Oh boy, Roy. Is that what you were trying to say? Roy. TNT. Roy. Because why? It's dirty deeds done with sheep. Dirty deeds and it's done with sheep. Ow! Bow. And Casey's over there plugging his ears up. I know. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Because again, Casey's going to have a different list than you are. I'm going to have a different list than you, you know, because I would pick Slash before Angus Young. I mean, I'm sorry. Uh, but that's just me. But Slash would still be in my top 10 list over Angus Young, if I were to pick, go through the list. So, that's just how it goes. Everybody's going to have a different opinion on everything. It's just like, let's go with a marker debate. You've got Olo markers as opposed to Copic markers. Well, a lot of people are leaning towards the Olo markers more than they are the Copic markers because of ease of use, easeability. Tiny Tim is awesome on those strings. See, there you go. That's your choice, and that's your opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one, and some stink. So you take that for what it is. Because see, Tiny Tim right up there for oh, but Tiny Tim had some good stuff. I mean, it's just like with Pee Wee Herman. He had some good stuff, you know. Whenever he was singing his stuff, um, and then you had Mr. Rogers. Whenever he would sing his stuff, he had good stuff, you know. And it's to each their own. So everybody's got their own opinions on everything, and some are right, some are wrong, and no one's ever going to be in agreement. You know, unless you're at an ACDC an ACDC concert, and they're like, "Oh yeah, the greatest right here on stage right now, yeah, Angus Young, yeah," and then they go to another concert, "Oh yeah, the greatest on stage right here, yeah," all those good things, because you know everybody's in that moment, It's just like when a new band comes on the radio, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is great stuff," and other people are like, "This is shit. What the fuck are you talking about?" You know. So everybody's got their opinions on everything. So you let it ride. Roy, congratulations. Angus Young is your guy. Put down the Miracle Whip right now. Um, because why? It's fragile. It's fragile. It must be Italian. Um, see, that's my greatest movie of all time when it comes to Christmas movies. And then I go into the horror genre after, you know, A Christmas Story. And a lot of people hate The Christmas Story. But that's my all time favorite holiday movie out there. And then you get Die Hard and Rambo and, you know, Krampus and so on and so forth. Uh, Deadly Night, you know, Violent Night, all those good things, you know, Black Christmas, all, you know, the list goes on and on when it comes to horror Christmas movies. And it's just like the Valentines. Thanks for being a smartass. I will always be a smartass. I have no problems with being a smartass. And asses are smart. They hold back a lot of shit. You know? I mean, it's just case in point. I mean, it's bodily functions, you know? Take it for what it is. Now, if yours doesn't hold back shit, I'm sorry. You know, we can get you the pins for that on a regular, you know? Do you have leakage, Roy? Is that what you're trying to tell us? You have some leakage going on. Enlighten us, because it's kind of gross. All right, folks, I am going to kill it for today. I hear some animals barking and other stuff in the other room. I know you guys can't hear that, but I can. All right. So, but Casey and chat, I apologize for Monty's behavior. I don't. You don't have to apologize for my behavior. It's my behavior. If they don't like it, they can see the door. You know, that like this door right behind me right here. They can go on out that door. And, well, if you go that way, you're going back into the closet. But if you go that way, you're going out the door and then outside. So that you know, there's the door. If you don't like my antics here, you know where the door is. You can exit out of here. See you later. But anyway, like I like to say as I leave you guys to it, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.